Next, again, because we went off schedule a little bit, we're going to have Brian Wesley, who's a seasoned YLC board member, come up and give you some tips on successful projects and do a little bit of a Q&A. So Brian, it's all yours.
Good morning, everyone. This is going to be kind of a reiteration of Gio's slides. He did a really good job. But we did want to put it in more general context as far as those of you who aren't necessarily interested in doing a CLE. So just to frame to start, the YLC's purpose is to serve as a vehicle through which younger members of the state bar can exert a more direct influence upon the activities of the bar. We also engage in activities designed to respond to the needs among younger members of the bar. We promote, uphold, and elevate standards of honor, integrity, competence in the legal profession, and we assist counsel of the VSB in discharging its duties to improve the legal system and responsiveness of the profession to members of the public. So, where to start? One good place is, of course, input from your local bar. Sometimes there are issues that are directly related to a specific area, and so a lot of information in helping you to form your event can come directly from your local bar. You may have a local issue, or there may be a national or international issue that can also drive that. And then your passion, if you have an interest or something that really motivates you, this could really help to drive your creativity when it comes to project ideas and what you would like to do. So, who will serve? Normally, it's you and possibly a co-chair, but you can get experience, knowledge from past program chairs, other YLC members, lawyers, and professionals. And then, of course, you're going to rely heavily on volunteers, some being law students, when you throw your events. Yeah, you guys awesome. So a lot of this was stuff that Gio covered. So we're going to skip kind of to the end. And these are just some quick tips to help ensure your success. And then we're going to have a Q&A. First of all, don't be shy. If you have questions, you have concerns, you don't know what's going on, don't hesitate to ask, a board member, Maureen, Catherine, ask, just ask somebody, because a lot of times the answer is very simple. It's probably been asked before. There's an answer that's waiting for you, so don't hesitate there. As far as planning your event, start early. Don't wait till the last minute, because of course, things come up, in life, weather, etc. So you don't want to be at the end of, getting into that crunch time area. Utilize the board and the liaisons, and I'm also going to add the circuit reps into that. And I think we'll go into a little bit more in depth about what circuit reps do, but circuit reps really are key to a specific area. For example, recently there was a CLE, and so I forwarded on to Stacy, who's in the 13th, and a couple of other people in the surrounding areas who circuit reps, and then they can push it out. So that's just an avenue to kind of help you push and get information out to young lawyers in your area. Stay on budget. That's huge. A lot of times there's not extra, so you definitely want to stay on budget. You want to keep your liaison informed if you begin to look like you're going to go over budget, but try to keep it under budget. And then, of course, taking pictures are crucial for social media, but they're also crucial for bar awards at the end of the year. When we submit to the APA, they like to have pictures, and we like to show them the good events that you guys put on. So from there, we will go to a Q&A, and I've got a couple of people in the audience that I'm just going to ask some very general questions to kind of get a dialogue going. So I'm calling Craig first, because he looks kind of sleepy back there, so I'll wake him up. So Craig, just quickly, let us know the event that you put on, and then what was the most difficult thing that you encountered in putting on that event?
Well, I'll say I'll say there's an event I'm trying to put on, and Nathan knows about this, and I think this is probably some shameless advertising anyway. We're trying to do a softball tournament in conjunction with the annual meeting, and one of the hardest things to do in the first place is just to kind of wrap your head around the entire thing and figure out where to start, where to kind of put your first, take your first step. And I would say in so doing, the book that you have in front of you is a great resource. The tab, I think 7 and 8, where you have the folks' contact information, that's huge. You can easily reach out to people, and that can be a great resource to figure out where you need to go first to kind of separate the forest from the trees. And then in addition to that, your biggest thing is number 2, start early. If you can start early and you can get a hold of those sorts of things, get a hold of some of where you need to be on the budget, etc. I found that the bar year is very different from the calendar year, and so because of that, you have to kind of get in sync with what the bar year is and how that works in terms of the budget and in terms of when you need to ask for certain things and when you need to make sure that certain things are done. So start with this book, talk to people, get yourself in sync with the bar year, and that will help you make your first step, which I think is the hardest part.
Thank you. All right, we're going to go on. Does anybody have any questions that they would like to ask, any of the board members, any of past program chairs or anything? If you do, as we continue on, just raise your hand and we'll get to it. All right, Shamika, you're up next. Shamika does Minority Pre-Law Conference. And so Shamika, I know you rely heavily on volunteers. How do you go about getting volunteers for the Minority Pre-Law Conference?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing for me is I'm a big networker already. So first of all, I rely on personal contacts. So it's a favor from a friend, which I will at later on points collect on these favors to have them sit on panels. It's most, it's other lawyers that you know in your district, and you'll find that, at least for panels, people are actually quite honored to be asked. And so it starts with the ask. You cannot be afraid to reach out to people. For a lot of the times, for me, I just shoot a quick email if it's a personal person, but if it's someone a little bit more removed, I'll try to call and speak with them about what the event is about. Obviously, just like Giovanni said and Brian is kind of reiterating, you need to have a frame of mind of what you're asking them to do when you go to them, kind of, if it's part of a presentation, what exactly are going to be the parameters of what you're going to talk to them about. I also chair No Bills Night for the Hampton Roads area, and the way I got volunteers for that was actually using Maureen and Catherine. I just basically said, hey, I need to send an email out to the entire listserv of attorneys in the Hampton Roads area, and they easily were able to do that for me. I crafted an email asking for volunteers to serve on No Bills Night, and that's a call-in night where we do pro bono kind of legal advice, and people were able to come to me that way.
Cool, thank you.
I'll also say that Chris Fortier is our membership involvement coordinator, and we have a spot on our website that you can indicate if you want to do particular programs. So a YLC member who just passes the bar and wants to get involved fills out that form. It goes to Chris. He writes down any of the programs that they're interested in, and then when someone like Shamika says, hey, look, I need volunteers for this, Chris looks at our database and says, well, we have 3 people here who have indicated an interest in the Minority Pre-Law Conference, and then Chris forwards those names on to Shamika, and that's how it goes. So we have a system in place to try to get you the volunteers that you need, should you need them. So we never want you to feel like you're on an island by yourself when you're putting on a program.
Cool, thank you. All right. Giovanni, I'll give this one to you. What piece of advice would you share with our new programmers? I know you've covered some of that, but if you could share one tidbit of information, what would it be?
Oh man, there's a lot. It's hard to pick one.
Pick a couple.
I can pick a couple. Just be proactive about brainstorming and thinking of ideas. You know, take advantage of today to bounce some ideas off of your YLC board liaison if you're here, bounce ideas off of your colleagues during the breakout session. Don't be afraid to copy. Just quote unquote plagiarize the heck out of your program. Just, you know, you can totally just graft something over from a pre-existing program in another circuit or by another program, and you know, just take the fundamentals of it and just customize it for your needs. You know, there's no need to reinvent the wheel when you're coming up with programming. If you're so fortunate to have the situation where you're stepping into someone else's shoes and they have been putting on programming in the past, for me, the easiest thing to do when I was new was to just redo a CLE that happened in the prior bar year. Obviously, it's an updated version of the CLE, but I just contacted the same people. They were familiar with the project and the organization, asked them to update their materials, and that was a nice first step. You know, before I kind of took the training wheels off and started to branch out and make up new events, that was very helpful. I mean, I feel like I can ramble on and on about that kind of stuff, but those are probably some good tips. You've heard some of them before. Just start brainstorming early, bounce ideas off of people, copy, and whatever I said last that I can't remember. Just, you know, jump right in.
And also just throw another little tip in there, and it's kind of at the bottom, but Docket Call. A lot of the articles for Docket Call come from you guys when you put on programs, and so an important tip in doing that is that right after the program is over, start to work on that piece for Docket Call, because chances are you're going to get a lot of the information. You know, something comes up, you won't want to do it, etc. But it's a very easy way to get your program into Docket Call and really highlight, you know, those who helped you in the program and how it impacted the community. So if there aren't any questions, I think I'll finish up there so we can continue on. Good. All right, thank you.